Ange Postecoglou has spent nearly 3 decades to make it to the promised land of the Premier League, the pinnacle of European football, and his journey has been nothing short of remarkable, spanning across 3 different continents and resembling something of a road to glory career on FIFA. Relatively unheard of until he arrived at Celtic in 2021, it came as a surprise to fans when the Greek-born Australian manager was unveiled as the new Spurs boss this summer. After all, he was the 3rd choice candidate for the role, behind German manager Julian Nagelsmann, who rejected the proposition early on, and Feyenoord manager Arne Slot, who seemed a good fit but chose to continue his project at the Dutch club. Nevertheless, Postecoglou has made an impressive start to the season with Spurs, leading them to the top of the league and positioning them as serious title contenders. But how did a manager who has only ever coached outside of Europe's top 5 leagues take the Premier League by storm? This is the remarkable story of Ange Postecoglou's rise to prominence. Postecoglou is no stranger to overcoming challenges, and his early days in coaching serve as a testament to his resilience and determination. At just 5 years old, Angelos Postecoglou migrated from Athens to Australia with his family after a military coup in the late 1960s took over their family-run business. Going by the name Ange in his new country, he began his footballing journey with South Melbourne FC at the age of 9, slowly rising through the ranks and eventually earning a starting position at the club. There, he won 2 Australian League titles under the legendary Ferenc Puskás, who was crucial in inspiring the 4-3-3 tactical setup that later became the cornerstone of his own strategy. After a knee injury prematurely ended his playing career at the age of 27, he rejoined South Melbourne as manager and led them to 2 consecutive league titles in 1997-98 and 98-99, making him the only person involved in all 4 title victories in the club's history. Eventually, he was called up to manage the Young Socceroos, Australia's national youth team. But as soon as the team's performances declined, pundits began to call for his replacement, a situation that further intensified after a live TV interview between Postecoglou and a passionate Craig Foster. The final blow came in 2007 when his team failed to qualify for the Under-20 World Cup. Believing that his subsequent dismissal would spell the end of his managerial career, he quickly turned his attention towards smaller clubs in the Greek 3rd Division and Melbourne. After some time, Postecoglou made a triumphant return to Australia as the manager of Brisbane Roar, where he achieved extraordinary success. In just 2 years, he led them to back-to-back titles and became the manager with the most wins in Australian football history. Over an incredible 36-game unbeaten streak, he curated the style of possession-based football he is now famous for. But despite his accomplishments, he made the surprising decision to leave the club for a weaker Melbourne Victory squad. Regardless, he couldn't replicate his trophy success with his new club, despite managing to elevate their position in the standings. After his contract expired in 2013, Postecoglou became the new Socceroos boss, and with the appointment came another chance to leave his mark with the national team. Under his guidance, the team qualified for the 2014 World Cup, and despite fielding mostly younger players, still managed to stay competitive in the tournament's toughest group. The performances also showed positive signs that the team could move away from relying on the aging players of Australia's golden generation from the 2000s. More success followed in the 2015 Asian Cup before he would again lead his nation to qualification for the 2018 World Cup. However, shortly before the start of the tournament, Postecoglou surprised everyone once again by resigning from his position to accept the job as the new manager of Yokohama F Marinos, venturing into a new country and a fresh challenge. After his arrival in Japan, Postecoglou made history as the first Australian to manage in the J-League. In just his 2nd season with Yokohama, he led the team to their first league title in 15 years by implementing his aggressive and possession-oriented style of play. During a friendly match against Man City in 2019, Pep Guardiola even heaped praise on Postecoglou's side, who, despite losing 3-1, put up an impressive fight that saw them create numerous chances and maintain 58% possession. It was a highly successful 4 years for Big Ange, but when a position in Europe came calling, there was no way he could say no. This time, he was en route to Scotland, where he looked to guide Celtic back to the top of the Premiership. Ange was still a nobody when he signed for Celtic, but he treated the opportunity as the greatest in his life. and started making fundamental changes that rejuvenated the club and allowed them to challenge Rangers, the reigning champions of the Scottish Premiership. He deployed a masterful 4-3-3 formation using wide wingers to stretch opposition shapes and central midfielders to attack the half spaces left vacant by the opposition. Like Puskás, Postecoglou instilled a philosophy of maintaining a high defensive line and prioritizing scoring goals. The results were remarkable, with goal differentials of +70 and +80 during the initial stages of his 2 seasons at Celtic, both of which saw them crowned league champions. But despite his emotional attachment to Celtic, its players, and life up north, Postecoglou could not pass up his next big opportunity. As he said goodbye to Celtic and their fan base, despite his extremely short tenure at the club, he received positive wishes from fans, players, and staff alike as he ventured to North London. That brings us to this season. After journeying across the world, fighting from being an unknown Australian manager to the head of one of the Premier League's largest clubs, Postecoglou is everything Tottenham could have asked for, and more. Many believed it would take time for his players to get used to his methods, but the results have been immediate, and Spurs have reached the top by playing exciting, enterprising football. To watch our video on the tactics employed by Postecoglou at Tottenham, head to the first link in the description or click the card in the top right corner. But beyond his tactics, Postecoglou's most significant contribution to the team is fostering a sense of community. With his classy and exemplary character, he has shattered the club's previous poor culture, instilling a stronger sense of unity and a collective spirit among its players. Tottenham have yet to find their ceiling, but there's a noticeable difference between their current side and those in years past. And with Postecoglou at the helm, it's clear that they want to reinvent their style of football. Many believed he wouldn't be able to find success in the Premier League with such a dejected club, but this season is looking like his to conquer. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.